Hello there. If you're new to GMing or DMing, depending on what game system you're using, I've got this is a little advice. I've been a GM for quite some time, over let's say about 25 years of experience. I generally GM about 90% of the time. First thing you need to do, whatever game system you're in, doesn't matter what it is, just read through the main book. Just read through it at least once. Skimming it, yeah, it's okay. You can get away with it, but you really need to read the game mechanics and understand how this game is played. You need to understand what dice you need to use and when to use it. So that would be number one. Number two, make a character. One, you know how to make a character, and then you can explain that to your players. It'll make it a lot easier for your players to understand how to make a character if you've already gone through the process. Three, number three, when you're read through it again, read through it, and jot down a few notes of major important sections, like where combat rules are, where the spell listings are. Those type of things will make it a lot easier for you to look up during a game session if you already have it jotted down somewhere what page to start with spells or difficulty levels. Those always come up in every game, and even if you don't think it's going to come up, it's going to come up. At least know where to find things in the index are. Number four, I would say go on YouTube, and there are thousands, maybe even millions of gaming sessions, tabletop gaming sessions. Just watch one. You don't have to watch it all the way through. Just get an idea of how. It'll just give you an idea of how it's played. Critical Role, though, is run by professional actors, not regular people like you and myself. There are plenty of smaller channels out there with average, regular people gaming. You'll get a better idea of how games are run. Okay, number five should be pretty easy. Know your players. And generally, your players are going to be your friends. You know, group of you decide that you wanted to try out Dungeons and Dragons. You watch Stranger Things. Hey, that looks like fun. Let's give it a try. You should know your players, know what they want, what they're expecting, and if not, just talk to them. Just talk to your players. So just talk to your players, find out what type of characters they're interested in making, help them make the characters, and find out what type of adventure they want you to run. And number six is a pretty important one, especially for brand new people who've never done tabletop role playing at all. You're absolutely new to tabletop role playing game. I would suggest, and some systems have this, not all of them do, but I would suggest that you purchase something like a starter set. Nice simple starter set if you were interested in playing in the Alien universe. Go with the starter set first, because this can be a very, very expensive hobby. The actual core book runs about 50 bucks. I believe this one was about $60 with shipping and handling and all. While the starter set is about half that. It is an expensive hobby. Get the starter set first. Starter sets usually have like a smaller condensed version of the full rules, an easier character creation, and a sampled adventure for you to run. Doing that will really let you and your players figure out if this is a hobby you really want to get involved with, or this was like maybe a one shot. Tried it, it's okay, don't really want to get into it. You didn't lose a whole lot of money on it. Alternately, number seven for beginning DMs and GMs, you can make your own adventure. Just something really simple. I would suggest for first time DMs and GMs, just, well, quite honestly, just rip something off. Just rip off a story, movie plot, TV show plot, something that you can do in one session, basically. Something that you're well versed in and you know pretty well. For instance, Star Trek, that would be pretty easy. Make a sequel to one of the episodes. So, beginning DMs, making your own adventure takes a lot of work. There's advice in these books on how to do it. I would just keep it really simple. And number 8, you're going to have to make some NPCs. Now, most of these books have some pretty generic NPCs, so you don't have to make the stats for them. What you need to do is just name them, give them a quick little background, and how they're going to interact with your players. There is a lot to do as a GM. Number 9, well, number 9, there's really no way you can do this other than on-the-job training, and that's improvising. Improvising is going to be your most important skill set to learn. And you can only learn that from experience. Just take Murphy's Law into account when you're trying to run a game, because nothing is going to go the way you plan it. Nothing. Players aren't going to do what you hope they do. In fact, if you're brand new to whatever system you're going to run, you're going to make a mistake. The players are going to get through that mistake either very easily, or you're going to accidentally kill your player characters. In either situation, you're going to have to improvise and figure out what's best for the group, what's best for the game. Brings me to number 10, don't lose control of the game. Sometimes you're going to have a player become center stage. Not every group, but a lot of groups have a prima donna who think they're the center of attention. Don't lose control. Maintain control. You're the one in charge. You're the referee, basically. But you got to remember, this is not GM versus players. The GM is telling a story. It's an interactive story with improvisational acting. You're there to tell a story and for the players and the GM to have a good time. You can't have a good time if you lose control of the game. So, if you're stuck, just take a moment, take a break, and if you have to, just talk with your players about what's going on. Generally, most players are going to be understanding and go along, especially if the players went in a completely opposite direction than what you were expecting. They'll generally understand and help you get the game back on track to the story that you wanted to tell. And that's about it. That's all I have for 10 steps or 10 bullet points of advice for new time GMs and DMs. And hopefully this was helpful for some of you. Leave a comment, like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this video, and see you later.